Hello, my beautiful soul sparklers. My name is Darcy Legg with Darcy's Healing Touch, where my focus goes, healing energy flows. I'm also known as the Sunshine Shaman. And today I want to talk about three different tips on self love. So I think of self love as when I'm on an airplane when they give us an introduction and tell us how to do the safety belts, and then they tell us how to do the mask for oxygen over our face. They tell you to put your mask on first, and then you could take care of the person next to you's mask if they need help. So to me, that's just a form of self love. You need to take care of yourself first, just like on an airplane. And if the oxygen is needed, take care of yourself first, and then you could assist other people. For some reason, when I grew up in the 70s, they there was no such thing as we were just, women were focused on taking care of everybody else first instead of taking care of ourselves. So the first thing you need to do with self-love, and I'm just giving three examples, but there's probably hundreds of them. So the first thing that you could do is talk to yourself as if you were talking to your best friend or talking to a child. And this is something that I'm still working on. For example, the other day, I was looking all over the house for my cell phone. I was searching, searching, searching. It took me about 5 or 10 minutes before I actually found my cell phone. It was in my hoodie, in my pocket, in the front. And for some reason, I couldn't see it until I went into the bathroom and looked in the mirror and saw that it was in my hoodie. So, have you ever looked for your cell phone when it's in your hand? I'm guilty of that too. But anyway, this happened the other day and I was looking all over for it. It took me about 5 or 10 minutes to find it. I finally found it. And I remember saying to myself, man, I would lose my head if it wasn't attached to my neck. So that's negative self talk. I need to be careful not to do that. Sometimes I think it's funny to say stuff like that to myself, but it really isn't healthy. So, do you do negative self talk like that too, not realizing that you do that? If you do, or if you have any questions about this, leave it over in the chat box and I'll be happy to answer any questions or any comments. I'll be happy to respond to it. So that was first. Talk to yourself, self talk, the way you would a best friend or even a little child. Be kind. We all make mistakes. We all do things we shouldn't do. And it really doesn't help the situation by talking negatively. So the second one is step back, slow down, and observe. And I use this form of self love a lot when I'm in a different situation that I need to assess it and I need to figure out what's going on or what's best for me. I'll give you an example of this. I work somewhere, and I'm not going to tell you where I was working or the name of the place, but it was a hospital. And a lady would come in, and she was the highest up in this department. And she would come in and she would cause all sorts of chaos in this department. So I called her the tornado, is what I referred to her as. She would stir up. I mean, as soon as she walked in the door, she would just start swirling and stirring up all sorts of stuff. So, do you work with somebody that is called the tornado? You cannot stop the tornado. There's no way of stopping her. So what I did is I would not, when I saw the tornado coming, because she had high winds and she caused all this chaos. So I would just pull back and I would just let her have her way and let her do her thing because I couldn't stop the tornado and I couldn't help that tornado out. So sometimes I'm in situations like that. And that's a form of self love. I'm taking care of myself. I'm not getting involved in the tornado and the chaos. She caused enough chaos. I don't need to cause help with any of that. Another situation, I call that staying on the rim of the toilet. is what I refer to that as. Just stay on the rim and watch all this stuff go down. Stay away from it. Just stay on the rim is what I refer to that as. So that's just a form of self love, taking care of yourself and not getting involved in chaotic situations, just observing and letting certain things happen as needed. Now, don't constantly pull back. If you're needed, of course, go in there. But there's certain situations like the tornado where obviously I'm not going to help by jumping in. I would just cause more chaos. So I'm taking care of myself and I'm stepping back and I'm just observing. How do you handle people who are very chaotic like that? Do you step back and observe or do you get involved? What do you do in those kind of situations? Okay. So, number two of self care was just stepping back and observing if necessary. Number three is for self love, is just care for yourself. Again, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and women back then were treated a little bit differently. They were taught, I was taught growing up that we took care of men and we took care of our family and everybody else, and we didn't learn to take care of ourselves back then. This is something new to me. Women were treated a little bit differently back then than they are now. So take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, what happens is when things do get stressful or heated, a lot of times you will do things that are behaviors that are not so healthy. So find out what you like to do, what makes you happy, and then go ahead and take care of yourself. Let me see if I missed anything. If you have any questions, leave them up there for me or any comments. Those were it. Talk to yourself as if you were your best friend or you're a child. Step back, slow down, and observe the situation if it's not the best situation to be in. And then care for yourself. Do what makes you happy, whether that's meditation, eating healthy, exercising. If it makes you feel good to watch TV, do what makes you happy. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions after this is over, I'll go ahead and leave where you could contact me. You could either leave messages down in the description or you could contact me at Darcy's Healing Touch. Thank you so much for watching. I'll post that there. There it is. It's up there. Darcy's Healing Touch is where you could contact me. Thank you so much for watching. Love you all. Keep on sparkling.